So, what's up everyone? Today I got you something very special. It's a Magic Dragon Knight PvP build that I think everyone should at least take a look at, because personally after playing it with for a couple of days, I found out that it's really overperforming, and it's mostly one set and one skill that makes this build, well actually two sets and one skill that make this build extremely powerful, way too powerful than anything I've seen on a Magic Dragon Knight before. And trust me, I've been playing this class for almost 4 years now, and I've tried almost every single build, and this is actually my first double staffs, I guess, Destro Resto build that I actually enjoyed. Because I even with the rapid regeneration buffs, I always thought Resto was not meant to be on a MAGDK, but this build 100% changed my mind. I think Resto is a must-have this patch, especially. It's also in Dragonhold. I think it's called Dragonhold. I don't know, update 24, I think, the one after Scalebreaker. You should definitely still be running Resto on almost any magic class, because right now it's absolutely busted. Anyway, let's jump into it. First, I'm gonna talk about the sets. First set is your damage set, and it's Clever Alchemist. Now, this might change by the new moon set, whatever, the one that increases the cost of your abilities, but also gives you a flat weapon and spell damage increase with also some penetration. That's going to be an interesting set to try out. But for now, I'm going to stay with Clever Alchemist. It has a shock damage because the 8% damage increase. It actually procs a lot more than I thought it would. It almost procs. It's probably because of some of the Destro skill lines, but it literally procs as soon as the shock damage hit. It always procs. At least for me, the uptime is huge. The trait is nirnhoned, of course. I think you always should go nirnhoned. Maybe sharpened is better, just because you kind of have a lot of spell damage in this build. So if you think sharpened is better than nirnhoned, I think you should go try it out. It's a crafted set. You can definitely go away with it. Can easily try both. Your resto is actually, I mean, of course I'm running this resto. It's absolutely broken. Blackrose perfected restoration staff. It's infused with an increased weapon spell. Now that glyph, if you're not running it on a backbar resto, it's literally like a proc set on its own. That fucking spell damage increase, and you can literally keep it up 100% of the time, because it pretty much has no cooldown. If you don't know what the Blackrose Resto does, pretty much when you activate this, Hayward gives you 3-second major vitality, which is pretty fucking strong for 3 seconds. If you have all your hots up, you're healing over times, it's gonna be ticking for a huge amount of healing. Monster set, Valkyn Scoria, I think, since this is a heavy armor build, I think you need that push of burst, especially since it's a very tanky oriented build. Now for the traits on my Valkyn, it's actually sturdy, because as I said, this is actually my first Destro Resto build. I always thought that sturdy, I always go for sturdy, because I used to be a block tart. I still am, but this build kinda was fresh air for me. I still really enjoy it, but you should have impen here instead of sturdy. It's the best trait. I don't think you need to block at all. Maybe sometimes to like stop DZ spammers, and I don't know, fucking, what's that macro skill called again? The one that gap closes and stuns you and gives you off balance and also does damage. Toppling charge, yeah, you can also use it to block that, but you don't really need it. 8% is not gonna do a whole lot of bunch for you. Definitely go for impen. You can also go for bloodspawn. I think it's actually slightly better to help you with sustain a little bit. If you're struggling, if you think you have enough damage, definitely go for bloodspawn. We'll just go with every anything else you want. This is just my top picks of Valkyn and bloodspawn. The next set now is Hist sap. If you don't know what Hist sap does, pretty much just always heals you. You don't have, as a MAGDK, I'm not running Elusive Mist just for this set because it's pretty much a healing over time that always procs. It's disabling effect, immobilization, or snare. When you're 1VXing, that's almost always on you. So having this set will actually like proc the entire fight. It's actually pretty insane. I definitely think this set needs a little bit of a rework because right now for me it's overperforming, and that's also why I'm using it. For the glyphs, I think you should go all prismatics. I have stamina here. For one reason, I thought I could push to 15k stam, but as you can see I couldn't. But you should probably go all prismatic on everything. Durity is 2 reduced cost and 1 spell damage. You can go 3 reduced cost. I do not suggest you go recovery. Do not go recovery, not on heavy armor. I think it, especially in this type of build where you have almost no recovery, this is better, trust me. And if you're really struggling to sustain, I'll show you how you can sustain. It's one solution that will solve all your sustain problems in this build. I'll show you in a second after I show everything in this build. Again, 2 reduced cost, 1 spell damage. Alright, so for the consumables, I'm running this buy food I think right now is the best for Magicka. I don't think there's anything, this used to be like the Bloody Mara last patch, where it almost gave you like 6k health and I don't know how much Magicka, but it was a lot. I think this is right now the best buy food for Magicka characters. It gives you so much, like way too much than any other food. Sometimes when I'm really struggling with sustain, I use this food, but as you can see the difference is huge in the stats. I honestly think it's not worth it. I think you should just stay with this and keep the extremely high health that you have in this build. For potions, I'm running, I always have these on me on almost every character, even Stam. I think if you don't, you should have at least like 10 or 20, because sometimes in 1VX when you're fighting a lot of annoying Nightblaze, I think this will come in clutch. It's extremely powerful, honestly. I get a lot of hate mail from this. I assume a lot of players do who use this. Anyway, your main potion is tri-potions. It kind of goes without saying for Magicka Dragonite. It's always better to run tri-potions for the stam sustain. Magic sustain also gives you recovery, health. Can't go wrong. But sometimes I think running mobility potions for the 8 seconds sometimes helps with your Baswan burst. I will get to that in a second after I show off the skills. This is completely unbuffed. Let me show you the front bar actually. This is unbuffed stats right here. Goes a lot higher. I think without continuous attack you can have 4,000 spell damage. I'll have a screenshot. We'll show it right now. But yeah, these are the unbuffed stats. Everything in Magicka. Your Mundus stone is the Mage. I think it's better than the Apprentice because there's almost no difference. Apprentice is slightly higher, but the difference is like 2%. It's not worth it. I think you should go with the extra Magicka sustain. In my opinion, it has a lot more value. Stage 4, I use Bat Swarm. Nothing else. Now let's go into the skills, then we'll show off the CP. You're running LE Drain, Cauterize, Fossilize, Burning Embers, Lash, Bat Swarm on the front bar, backwards Entropy, Rapid Regen, Healing Ward, coag, and Volatile Armor, and of course Resto. I don't have this leveled yet, but I think you should go with the Life Giver instead of the other morph. I think it has a lot more value now that Major Protection is gone. I think this is the better defensive ult. Okay, let me show you the CP. It's pretty straightforward. 2-inch Siphoner, 56 Warlord. No points into Arcanist because as you saw in this stat sheet, we don't really have a lot of magic recovery, so Tenacity will help a lot more than Arcanist, so 75 points there. It's not a perma block build, so having more points into roll dodge will help because block is not the priority. 81 Tumbling, 56 Shadow Ward, 27 Blessed, 51 Elfborn, 37 Ellie Expert, 24 Spell and Origin, 56 and Master Arms, 75 Thaumaturge for the Exploiter passive, 48 Ironclad, 57 Resistant for crit resist, 48 Thick Skinned, 37 Hardy Elemental Defender, and 43 into a quick recovery. I think I covered everything. I will explain some things in the build and how you should go about playing this because first I think you should pay attention to some of the passives. I don't have them unlocked right now, but heavy attacking in this build actually plays a huge part on how you're supposed to play. I'm not saying you should spam it, you should only use it when you feel like you're struggling with sustain, because if you look at everything right here, you have 30% more magicka return from the heavy attack. Also, if you go in the heavy armor, you have 25, so that's 55, and if you count the 14 from the CP passive, that's 69 more heavy attack heavy attack restore on the magicka. With the off balance, also it becomes pretty huge. I can actually show it to you in a few seconds here. That's one thing to notice. Another important passive, this is my DC MAGDK, I don't have everything unlocked, but you're supposed to have everything unlocked here. Okay, yeah, Destro skill line, this is actually pretty important. It plays a part in your shock damage, 8% minor vulnerability, so you should definitely have this and this. These are the two most important passives you should focus on. Everything else is also pretty good, but you should definitely prioritize those if you don't have enough skill points. Alright, so I have a few people here and I'm going to demonstrate the magicka restore. Let me just burn some of my magicka. So the way you want to do this heavy attack, since heavy attacks on resto take a long time to channel, you need to find really good positioning, and that's pretty much the only thing I can tell you to get this going. So what you want to do if you're really struggling on sustain is let me get my magicka first. I need like 5 or 6k. Alright, so the way you want to do this is you want to fossilize, get the off balance. You can do the power lash and shit. I think I'll just do one power lash for the sake of this demonstration. But you can do double power lash. It's okay, you can do it, so you can like get the heal too. But if you do this and then you do a heavy attack, that's almost 12k. But yeah, you can see, like, if you have the ability to like get at least 2 resto heavy attacks, and it should pretty much be all your magicka. And I think I've covered everything right now, so I think you guys should try this build on. I think it works on a magicka Templar too. I think it would be stronger. Magicka Nightblade maybe, but if you guys want to run that on other classes, do it and let me know in the comments. But if you guys enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. I definitely think this, especially this Hist Sab, needs a nerf. I think it's way too strong right now. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another build video, I hope. One thing to mention is, if you want to see this build on performance, I actually do have a 1VX/2VX video on this build. I will put it in the description, first link. But anyway guys, have a good one.